Hi everyone, welcome to the third video in this series, Introduction to SQL. So in this video, we'll get started with writing some basic SQL queries. And just as a recap, let's look at how SQL works. As we saw before, to access a database, you use a programming language called Structured Query Language, or SQL or SQL for short. SQL allows you to interact with the database and manipulate the data in it, right? So you have your input SQL, your input SQL statement. That statement, when it is executed, that's pushed to a database. And then the output is usually in the form of a table containing all the information that you've asked for. The database that we're going to be using in this upcoming series of videos is MySQL. So hopefully you've been able to install and set up the MySQL workbench, and that's the process that we went through in the first video. So before we get into writing SQL commands, let's just look at the different kinds of SQL commands that exist. There's two different kinds. There's data definition language, or DDL, and data manipulation language, or DML. So DML, data manipulation language, is used to add, query, or update data. Data definition language, or DDL, is used to create the database itself, and you can set constraints on the kind of data that can be stored in the database. So some of the more common DML commands are select, update, insert. The common DDL commands are create, drop, rename, alter. But we will be mostly focusing on DML language, so language that's used to add or query or update the data. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the select statement. So the select statement in SQL is used to retrieve data from a table, right? So I'll open MySQL workbench and then we'll do a little bit of coding. Okay, so this is our MySQL workbench. We've connected to the database. So right here, you can see that there's this little database called University. If I double click on that and click on tables, you can see that there's three different tables here. There's professors, students, and subjects. Okay, so suppose I want to see, I want to look at the students table. So what I'm going to type is, I'll say, so first, before you type your SQL query, I'm going to say use, and then the name of the database that we're using, which is University, right? So the university is the database, and professors, students, and subjects are all tables within that database. Okay, so I will say use University. So use the University database, then add a semicolon, and then I will say select, and then an asterisk, and from student. So what this line of SQL is going to do is, it is going to select the students table and just show us all the data that's in the students table. So let me run that. Okay, the output tab is showing us all of the students that are in the students table. So you can see that we have 200 students at this university, and we've got their details. We have their names, emails, phone numbers, date of birth, address, and so on. Okay, so this displays the students table as it is. If I want to look at the subjects table, I can just remove the students and replace it with subjects. So I'm just saying select all the data from the subjects table, and I can execute that. And we've got 20 different subjects. So the name of the subject, the semester in which it is offered, and then an ID which corresponds to each subject, right? So normally what happens is, so imagine you are a university student, right? And you're interested in seeing what subjects this university offers. You just want to see a list of all the subjects. So normally what you would do is, you'd go to a website and you check out that list of subjects. And now it's easy enough to do on a website, right? Because you've used websites before, they're pretty common. But what is actually happening in the background is something like this. There's a SQL script that's running in the background, And when you say, okay, I want to look at all of the subjects that this university is offering, then some SQL script gets executed and that searches the database and gives you all of the information, all of the subjects that you want to look at, right? So, okay, let's try something else. Suppose I want to see a list of all the professors in this university. So I can just say select star from professors. So professors is the name of this table. I can say select star from professors. And if I hit run, okay, so these are all the professors at the university. And this is the subject that each of them teaches. So there's 40 different professors in this university. Okay, so this was, we've looked at how we can look at tables. We can use the select star from table, from the name of the, and then we enter the name of the table. That gives you all of the data in that table. But sometimes I don't want to see all of the columns. I can just, I just want to see a few specific columns, right? So let's open the professors table, or actually let's go to the students table, and I click on students, then I click on columns, and these are all the columns that are in the students table. So suppose I just want to see the name and the email ID of the student, right? I don't want the date of birth, the address, or the GPA or anything. I just want the name and the email ID. The way you can do that is you can, again, you say select, and any word that gets highlighted in blue is a keyword. So a blue word is a keyword. So I say select star, sorry, not star, I say select, and then I list the columns that I want to see. So I said I wanted to see the name and the email ID. So I can say first name, last name, and then I say email. So those are all the columns that we want to see. And we want to extract that data from the students table. And if I run that, only those three columns are displayed. We just get the name, the first name, the last name, and the email ID. So this is how you can select specific columns as well. You don't have to look at all of the columns. You can select only the ones that you want to see. Okay. Just to run through a few more examples, I'll close this. Let's look at the professors table. Right, once again, I just want to see the name of the professor and the subject that they teach. I don't want to see any of the other columns. So similarly, just like last time, I can say select first name, last name, and then subject from the name of the table, which is professors. And if I run that, yep, those are the only three columns that we see, the names and the subject that they teach. Okay. So we've seen how we can select specific columns, right? We've seen how you can either get all of the columns, you can select only specific columns, but sometimes you want to see only specific rows as well. You want to filter it according to some specifications that you have. For example, let me just say select star from subject. Right, so this is just showing you all of the subjects that the university offers. So there's animal health, disease and welfare, agroecosystems, there's computer science, a whole bunch of things, there's chemistry. So there's a lot of different subjects that they're offering, but you're interested only in the biology related subjects, right? You want to see only, okay, you want to see biology, you want to see anatomy and histology, but you don't want to see chemistry or, anything, animal health or anything that's not strictly biology related, right? You want to filter the data. And there's a way that you can do that as well. If you look at other examples, right? If I say select star from professors, this shows you all of the professors. But suppose I want to see only those professors that teach computer science. I'm not really interested in any of the other professors. I'm interested in studying computer science, and I want to look at only I want to see the professors that teach computer science. Sorry, right? So that's another example where you want to filter the data. Or imagine you're a professor and you want to select. So if I go back to our students table, I say select star from students. So you can see that there's some students that have a really low GPA. There's 1.3, 1.6, 2.2. So if you're a professor, maybe you want to filter out the students that have a very low GPA, so you can offer them extra classes or extra help, right? So there's a lot of situations where you might want to filter out the data and you see whatever fits your specifications. So in the next video, we look at how we can filter that data according to our specific needs. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.